So people are still joining, so we'll give another minute or so to people to join, and then we can get started. Nilesh, should we get started if you want to project the slides?
Sure, Vijay.
So we all set, Nilesh, you want to project the slides? Or
Yes, Vijay, all set.
okay. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, for all the people who are joining across the globe, wherever you are. First of all, thank you very much for joining this topic of webinar. How do we optimize the SAP performance? Uh, I welcome you all on behalf of TechOrbit for this interesting topic. Because we have been getting a lot of inquiries from our customer. Then how do we manage the SAP performance? We thought that this is a platform where we want to use and socialize to the other SAP users that how do we optimize the SAP performance by SAP data archiving, and how do we manage the retention management and information lifecycle management across the SAP landscape. So that's a topic of agenda here. So before we get into the nuts and bolts of the data archiving and how do we manage it, I would like to introduce the speakers in the call. So we have Mangesh Bais, who is around 20 plus years of experience. Uh, Nilesh, you want to project that next slide, please? We have Mangesh, who has around 20 plus of years of experience, who has delivered complex projects across the enterprise content management, and he is, has a strong experience across working across different tool sets such as OpenText, Rocket Software, or be it any other cloud-based solutions. He has delivered projects both in India as well as overseas market as well. And we have Anusha Sunku, who heads our SAP data volume management, primarily what we call it as data archiving or information lifecycle management. She comes around 10 plus years of experience, and uh, she has also delivered a lot of complex projects for both in India and overseas market as well, right? So we have a very packed agenda, about 1 hour, wherein the first 40 odd minutes we'll spend time on talking about what is data archiving and ILM, and how do we optimize the performance of SAP through third-party storage solutions, or it could be cloud-based solutions. And then we will also talk about some of those real-time examples where we have delivered complex projects, and that will give a real-time insights of what we have done in terms of optimizing the performance, right? And then We also talk about choosing the right storage solutions for managing uh, the archives and archive management, and be it third-party or cloud-based solutions. Before we get into the all these nuts and bolts of data archiving and and the other related topics, I would like to introduce TechOrbit. We as an organization, what do we do in this space? What are our service offerings? Probably in 3 4 minutes we'll spend time on that, and then hand it over to the speakers to talk about the subject matter of of the scope, right? Next slide, please. So when it comes to the interaction, we have kept aside around 20 minutes where we can all post your questions. So we have a moderators, Nilesh, Kajal, and Mridula will pick it up those questions and take it to the speakers, and speakers will be able to answer them. That's a logistics that we have set. Then hopefully we'll have a very good interaction, and we should be able to answer most of your queries. About TechOrbit, so we are about 5+ years of experience in terms of the experience what we bring into the data archiving. We started our company as a data archiving company, open text and SAP integration data services company. Then when we ventured into the SAP partnership, we also started offering more services around Rise with SAP. That is where when the entire SAP portfolio was revamped, what we call it as today Rise with SAP for SaaS-based solutions, be it private cloud or public cloud. So we have experience in both the offerings, be it private or public. Apart from that, we have a point-based solution such as Fiori, BTPs related services, and other SaaS-based solutions such as Ariba and SuccessFactors. Not just that, we also bring the digital transformation fundamentals where we can do a lot of transformation in terms of Agile and DevOps. So be it SAP or non-SAP. So we do have very strong practice around Agile and DevOps. Apart from that, infrastructure as well, be it SAP or non-SAP infrastructure, we have very good presence for managing the infrastructure space as well. And we not just that, no, we sell and service our SAP customers. We do also bring thought leadership to the space, wherein we have developed certain tools and accelerators which can fast track uh, certain implementations in SAP. Like for instance, we have our TechOrbit migration cockpit, wherein we can migrate the legacy archive content from the source system to the modern system, such as OpenText or any other ECM platform. Apart from that, we have got a Gemstart assessment kit, wherein if a customer comes to us, look, I have a very specific problem in SAP, and how do I address that? So we have developed certain Gemstart kit where we can do a proper analysis of your problem statement and remedy for it. So that's a kind of accelerators that we have built. Apart from that, data carve out, which is more of a carving out the data from the monolithic SAP system when a business wants to sell off its one of their entity. So how do we carve out the data, right? So that's another accelerator that we have built. Um, from the project experience standpoint, we have delivered 80 plus projects, both in India and overseas, be it as for HANA or fresh implementation or greenfield implementation, or else it could be brownfield implementation, data archiving, open text. So it includes all of those components from the project execution standpoint. Uh, all of our consultants or workforce are SAP certified. This is the way we ensure that our workforce is up to date in terms of certification, so that they create a kind of a WOF whenever they are engaged with the customers. From the certification accreditation standpoint, so we are SAP CMMI level 5 company, and we are also certified in terms of security, ISO certified as well. Uh, from the customer presence standpoint, we have presence in all the verticals, be it healthcare, agrochemicals, manufacturing, real estate, or most of it. I mean, you take any vertical, we have a presence there. And we call ourselves as a vertical agnostic, meaning a customer can be any doing any business, but irrespective of what they do it, we ensure that no, we provide all the required business solutions to achieve uh, their aspiration towards moving towards the enterprise resource planning. We also take in a pride saying that no, we are one of those youngest SAP and OpenText partners where we have achieved gold partnership and OpenText silver partnership. That's a very brief about TechOrbit. Maybe I'll cover some of our partnership and credentials that we have bought in terms of partnership. So next slide, please, Nilesh. Yeah. As I said, we are SAP Gold partners, and so we have partnership in all the three dimensions, which includes sell, wherein we can sell the licenses of SAP. We also have a the other dimension called as services, where we can serve our customers, certified customers, certified partners in terms of providing the services. Then we are also build partners, wherein the accelerators or the software what we have built or the tools what we have built, we have a joint GTM with SAP where we can fast track certain implementations. Apart from that, we're also with Microsoft partners, OpenText from the ECM standpoint, we are partners. Bbase is another uh, 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 partners where we are working with. Then we also have partnership with Rocket Software as well. These are some of the leading logos that we work with as a partner. Apart from that, from the infra standpoint, we have partnered with HP, SUSE Linux, and then AWS, Salesforce, uh, and then Dell, stuff like that. So that's very brief about TechOrbit and its credentials and what are the logos that we are working with. Now I'll hand it over to Anusha to take it forward in terms of talking about the data archiving. And over to you, Anusha.
Thanks, Vijay. Hello, everyone. Welcome again to this session. So this session we have planned in such a way that we will be making you aware about, like, what is the importance of the data volume management. So some of you may have already implemented the data volume management, and some of you may not know, like, how this data volume management works. So this particular session, so we will be walking through like what are all the challenges and what is the importance of data volume management in your SAP systems, as well as how you can be prepared when you are migrating to the HANA system. So as a part of this webinar series, this is the first session we will be providing you on the data volume management. So similar to this webinar, we will have like, the subsequent webinars maybe in a coming days where you can also understand and learn more about the data volume management on the SAP systems. Okay. So with that as a base, we want to start this webinar with a basic understanding on what is data archiving. So data archiving is basically the process in SAP that helps us to remove huge volume of data that is not required in day-to-day operations. So meaning if you're running any FMCG client, or if you are from a service-based company who is supporting for the clients, you may realize that on a daily basis, you will see the day-to-day transactions happening in their system. So as long as the business is going on, you will see the sales transactions are happening, or the purchasing transactions are happening, or the payment transactions are happening. So over a period of time, what you would observe is that the data would be increased in your SAP system. So which results in the increase in your database size, as well as you may start observing that your system performance is becoming very, very slow. So some of the people, especially from the basis background, so they would have implemented some of the purging reports or some of the cleanup reports. So that would have helped them to reduce their database size to some extent. But however, with this SAP ILM archiving process, so you can identify the right set of data that you want to remove from your database tables, and you wanted to keep it in your external storage server or the file system server. But as and when you want, you can still go and read the archived data from the file system level. So this is very, very standard process which is provided by SAP. So SAP themselves suggest that if any client is maintaining the SAP system, so it is always advisable to clean up their database sizes, keep the database clean, and always have the good performance in their system. So with that as a base, we have the couple of archiving approaches in any SAP system. So we have spoken about the data archiving, where any sales orders or the billing documents or the purchase orders, so those things are categorized under the data archiving because that is the actual data. So, and as well as this kind of actual data, so you may also have seen some of the scanned invoices coming into the system, whether it is vendor invoices or probably like purchasing invoices or like a bill of materials or any kind of scanned invoices coming into the system. So those kind of scanned invoices or the paper documents would eventually consume so much of space in your database system. So on one way, we are speaking about increasing in data, and the other way we are speaking about increasing in the paper copies or the scanned documents. So SAP has come up a solution for dealing both the things on the data perspective as well as the document perspective. So with that as a base, so SAP has given these two processes. One is the data archiving and the other one is the document archiving. So data archiving is a process of removing the business complete data from your database tables. So the outcome of this data archiving process would be you can see the significant drop of database sizes from your SAP system. So based on our experience and the client feedbacks that what we have got, so many of the clients has achieved 50% drop in their database size. So if their original database size is around 6 terabyte or 10 terabytes, which is giving them a nightmare in terms of the performance issues, then post data archiving, they have come down to 5 terabytes or lower than 5 terabyte. So that helped them to reduce the storage cost and improve the overall system performance. So on the other side, we have a document archiving as well. So there is a process and mechanism in SAP. So that helps you to manage the documents that is coming into the system. So that will also help you to integrate the scanned copies into the system to your sales order or the purchasing documents. So we also suggest to implement the document archiving depending upon the kind of documents that are coming to the SAP system. So one of the advantage is that it will improve the overall efficiency on managing the documents in your system. And then we can look at some of the key benefits of the data volume management. So we have been speaking about the data volume management, right? So if we look at what are the advantages or benefits of it, so whatever you see on the screen, these are the key benefits. So if we look at the first benefit of it, it says that fast and efficient processes and high user productivity. So like I said, over a period of time, if your database is huge, so your business users will come to you and say that, see, my transaction is taking so much number of time. I'm not able to submit the reports on time. So I'm behind the schedule. I would be failing supporting my tax and legal requirement. So that is one of the the pain factor if you have a huge volume of data. So with this data volume management, you can improve your system performance and your business user can support their day-to-day activities in a very efficient way. And it also helps you to reduce the total cost of ownership and the complexity of the IT landscape, which means the number of resources or the database or procurement of the database hardware or managing the number of systems. So the cost associated with it can also be reduced with the data volume management. And more importantly, we have to think about from the compliance standpoint. So every country is coming up with their own strategy of being compliant with their local government bodies. So by doing SAP data volume management, so additionally, you can say that at any point of time, your system is compliant and you will be at a very safe side, and you can reduce the operational costs and the legal risk of maintaining the huge volume of data in your SAP systems. So Nilesh, next slide, please. Okay, so the next subject that we want to take you to is way of managing the data volume. So now we understood, like, what is data archiving, what are the key benefits of data archiving. So now we will understand what are all the techniques that we have and what are the process that we have and what are the best practices that we have. So that helps you to achieve the data volume management in your SAP system. So moving on, Anilesh, next slide, please. Yeah. So now let's quickly spend some time here and understanding on how data archiving helps you in terms of the HANA preparation. So if you see the database growth, right? So over a period of time, depending upon your customer or the client, you can see the system landscape would be increased. So the more number of systems has been added to your client, it could be your ECC system, GTS system, SRM system, or CRM system, so it would become a complex. So in each one of the system, there will be definitely huge volume of transactions happening between one system and the other system, and there definitely will be increasing data volume in all the systems. And we can also look into from the retention perspective. So like I said, we have a country specific legal requirement. You take EMEA region or US region or Asia region, every country has a different regulatory requirement. So that says how a client should manage the data, how long the data should be kept in their system, and when they have to, delete the data from your system. So with that, there are some key impacts that we have added here. So most of you may have gone through, the similar challenges that you have in the system. So if you have gone through any one of these challenges, then now in this session, we will also understand what is the remedy or what is the best solution to overcome your existing challenges. So one of the challenge is that for the database administrations and IT. So if there is a large volume of data that is coming into the system, the storage capacity should be increased. So that in terms make your database administrator work more, and it will be the different set of work involved in administrating the database and handling the database. So from the security perspective also, so if you start collecting the huge volume of data, that includes both the personal data as well as the transactional data, over a period of time there will be a leakage of data that happens with knowingly or without knowingly. So you will run into any compliance issues or risk issues. So, and then during the backup or the system recovery or probably during the refresh activities. So from the basis perspective, if any one of you are from the basis background, so you would understand this. So whenever you are trying to take the backup of your database system, or whenever you are planning for any refresh activities or any backup for the HANA system, so you may see that the backup may run from hours to the days, depending upon the volume of data you have in the system. So eventually, one thing is that the time that involved is more. And second one is that, let's say if the huge volume of data is there, there may be chances that one of your operations get failed. So which results in starting the backup or the refresh from scratch. And also you will be delayed in project execution. So, and from the business perspective, so now we just understood from the database administration and IT perspective. Now let's understand from the business perspectives. So if a team is involved in carrying day-to-day operations, in generating some reports or submitting the tax and audit requirement. So if you see the huge volume of data, the amount of time they have to spend in extracting the data for one particular company code or particular transaction code or report, it will be more. So let's say if they're trying to take out 1 year of data for the reporting purpose, they would have to spend maybe 4 to 5 hours just to wait for the transaction code to execute and give the output. So with this as a pain factors, so there are some remedies or probably the solutions that you can follow to achieve it. So the straightforward solution is the data archiving solution. So data archiving basically targets the data which is less frequently used. So we are not saying that, you have to take out complete data from your system. So you can go back to your functional teams, or you can go back to your business users and understand what kind of data they access on day-to-day activities. So if they tell you that, they will use only 2 years of data, last 2 years of data in their day-to-day activities, then that is a key point for you, thinking that whatever the data is older than 2 years is something that we can consider for the archiving purpose. So that kind of close interaction you may have to have with your functional teams and the business users to understand what kind of data they will have to use. So that helps you to determine how much old data that we have to archive from the system. So, and archiving and not just archives complete data from your system. So there are certain conditions that it has to meet. So for example, one example is that the sales orders. So the reason why we create a sales document is that we want to give our product to the end customer. So if the product has reached to the end customer, then my purpose of sale is completed. So if the product has not reached to the end customer, then that means the sales order or the sales transaction is incomplete. So similarly, from the data archiving perspective, so this data archiving will target only the business complete transaction. So once your sales or document processing is completed, or once your procurement is completed, only that kind of data will be identified, and that will be taken out from your system, and it will be stored in your third party storage solution. So along with the archiving, we are also suggesting the purging reports. So from the basis team or from like a technical background, you may come and ask, what is the need of storing the archived data if I really don't want to view the data at all? So in that case, yes, if you say that you don't want the data to be viewed in the future perspective, then we have an option called as a deletion or the purging. So using this solution, you can identify what kind of data that you don't want from your system. For example, application logs or the database logs. So depending upon the severity or the criticality of data, you can either choose archiving solution or you can go for the purging solution. So that is the remedy that you will have to think about when you are facing some of the administration challenges, or if your business end users are facing some performance issues. So, and the second impact, like what you have to think about is from the legal perspective or the country specific perspective or the GDPR requirements. So most of you, if you have worked for the European customers, right? So you may already might have heard about this GDPR requirements for many times. So along with the GDPR requirements, every country has come up with a requirement of handling their personal data. So which they say, I mean, the simple understanding of this requirement is that so you can collect the personal data into your SAP system, but you have to have a clear picture on how you want to process the data and what is the business reason for collecting the data, and who are the people who has to process the data or view the data, and how long you are going to keep the data. So there are multiple things that comes into the picture when you are dealing with any personal information associated with a individual person or your employees. So you will have to keep in that mind, thinking why you are collecting and how long you want to keep the data and when you want to delete it. So for that, we also have a new solution, which is called as a SAP ILM solution. So SAP ILM stands for is Information Lifecycle Management. This is a new add-on. Maybe basically I would say the enhanced version of the data archiving. So that helps you to retain the data, and that helps you to delete the data as per your country and regulatory requirements. And the other advantage of SAP ILM is that not only your live data, if you have any legacy system. So for example, if your client has moved from 4.6 to ECC 6.0, and now they want to remove their old version of the SAP system. So in that case also, SAP ILM is one solution that helps you to decommission your legacy system with a smooth transmission of the data to your new system. So these are the main two advantages of SAP ILM from the data volume perspective. So, however, the reason why, yeah, earlier slides, please. Last slide, Nilesh. Yes, yeah. So, however, the important takeaway from this slide is that, how effective you want to be prepared before you go for the HANA. So, till this point of time, before the HANA, so we were running on ECC, we were using the ECC solution, and we were dumping the data for the business requirement. But from the HANA preparation perspective, now SAP is insisting every client to do the data volume management, whether it is archiving or deletion or SAP ILM. So they are suggesting their clients that when you are before moving to the HANA, make your database leaner, cleaner, and ready for the easy backup or easy migration to the HANA system. So with that as a very, very key point for the HANA preparation. So if you look at some of the key benefits, so at the bottom, you can see that, we have added some of the key benefits where it says that data volume strategy for ECC to S4 HANA migration. So some of the advantages is that you can save a cost on RISE resources from moving to ECC to RISE S4 HANA, and you can reduce the downtime. So now if you are going with a 10 terabyte of database or 20 terabyte of database, in terms of the backup or in terms of the refresh or in terms of the downtime, it would be very huge and time consuming. So once you archive the data, make your database very lean, then you can see there is a reduction of a significant reduction of the downtime. And you can also read the data, whatever archived in your ECC system into S4 HANA. So we are not saying that the data will be lost. So whether you are going to S4 HANA or you are going from one system to the other system, your data is not lost. So you will always have a mechanism or process in reading the archived data at any point of time. So with all this as a some of the pain points for every client, so you can either go with data archiving, purging, or combination of data archiving, purging, and SAP ILM for the efficient manage of your data, HANA preparation for your client. So next slide, please. Okay, so again, just we want to call out, what is SAP ILM all about? SAP ILM again, stands for Information Lifecycle Management. The reason why they termed is that this particular enhanced version of archiving will help you to manage the complete life cycle of your data. So when you speak about the complete life cycle, right, that means creation until the destruction. So when you are taking an entry or when you are putting an entry into your SAP system, right, that is the creation. So the final step of a life cycle is the destruction. So how you are going to manage the data throughout the creation process or the deletion process or whatever that is coming in between, right? So that complete control you can have by implementing this SAP ILM solution. So the key important point we want to inform you is on the retention management. So retention management is one of the key feature of ILM. So that helps you to define for how long you want to keep the data and who wants to access it and who are the right users who can run the reporting out of it, and at what time you want to destroy it. So everything that is involved, any operation that is involved from the creation process till the destruction process is something that ILM will help you in managing the data in your system. So Nilesh, next slide, please. Okay, so like I mentioned, ILM comes with multiple components. Since the SAP has started. The data archiving is something that is very, very old solution. So ILM is something that came a decade back. This is like enhanced future of the data archiving, like I said. And this also brings like, the couple of components to the plate. Like, one component is that retention management. Second component is your system decommissioning. So retention management is basically helps you to archive the data and put the retention rules to adhere to your country specific or the legal requirement. And it will help you to hold the data as long as we have the client requirement or the country requirement. And once the requirement is fulfilled, it also helps you to delete the data permanently from the storage location. So on the other hand, we have something called as a system decommissioning component of the SAP ILM. So this is very special component that is designed to handle your legacy systems. So let's say if you have right now you have multiple ECC systems and your client is decided to go only for one HANA system and they want to get rid of like 6 to 7 legacy ECC systems. So in that case, you can use SAP ILM solution for smooth migration of data from your legacy ECC systems to your HANA system, and also it will helps you to decommission the legacy systems which are no more required for the client. Okay, next slide, please. Yeah. So now we just spoke about SAP ILM and SAP data archiving, right? So we will also understand what are the prerequisites that we have to keep in mind when we are implementing SAP ILM solution. So like I just mentioned some time back, archiving is a very old topic to SAP. So archiving you can do in your 4.6 system with the lower support packages and all. But however, with SAP ILM, there has to be some restrictions or probably some prerequisites we have to keep in mind before implementing it. So that means there are some support packs that SAP is giving this ILM feature on. So this ILM functionality is basically available from ERP6 Enhancement Pack 5. So from that version only, you can utilize the SAP ILM archiving. So if your client has the version which is below than this, then still no need to worry about it. So you can continue to implement archiving solution in their ERP systems. And also, if your client insists or if you are suggesting to client that you still want to use SAP ILM solution, then there is an alternate way. So on the left side, you can see the couple of pictures where we have given what are all the possibilities that you have in case if your system does not satisfy a minimum support pack. So the first option is that if your SAP system is having the NetWeaver with 7.40 with SAP SPS support pack 12, so you can directly implement the SAP solution and integrate with ILM certified storage, and you can start archiving and you can start the retention management as well. So if your SAP system is below NetWeaver 7.40 SPS 12, then no need to worry. So by using the middle component called as SAP NetWeaver, you can still connect your SAP system with your ILM certified storage, and you can connect all the three systems for this seamless archiving and the data volume management. So now the biggest question will be that how to select the storage location for the archived data. So we have spoken about removing the data and storing it into some storage device, right? So now in the market, there are multiple third-party storage devices or the cheapest solutions that is coming into the picture. So in the next slides, you will understand what are the benefits and what are the third-party storages or the storage solutions that we have in the market that you can think on, and probably you can take it to your client and see what you can do with the existing resources rather than going out and procuring any third-party storage. Okay. So now next slide, please. So we have a poll now posted in the chat. So I really appreciate if every one of you would participate in it. Okay. So Nilesh, next slide, please. Mangesh, would you take from this slide?
Yeah, sure, Anusha. Thanks. So we'll give some time for audiences to add their responses to the poll, which our
Definitely.
coordinator is posting it. So Nilesh Mutale can let us know when we have responses ready. Do we want to decipher that or do we want to move ahead? Okay, we do have responses.
So Mangesh, you want to keep this quiz open and then continue with our topic and finally.
Right. Any participants, they can still keep on a separate time to give their responses to this poll. Okay, right. Okay, so thank you so much. Thanks, Anusha, for handing over to me. And so far, I'm sure everyone must be very much accustomed, and obviously this must be an information enrichment for everyone to understand on the topics of SAP data archiving, SAP document archiving. What are the advantages you can rip out of that? And what are the procedures and approaches you will have if you want to adapt to go for the SAP data document archiving? Including obviously ILM, which is a topic which catches very much traction in terms of regulatory requirements or GDPR specifically. Now, with that, we want to move our focus to another piece of the another important piece of this entire SAP data volume management architecture, where I will be talking about the storage part of it. So when I want to talk about storage part of it, again, as Vijay introduced me, I take care of the enterprise content management practice here at TechOrbit. So I take this privilege to talk about the storage options which are also available here when it comes to in the context of data volume management, SAP data volume management. So when I wanted to talk about the storage availabilities, the possibilities, what storage options we have in the context of SAP DVM, I categorized it I categorized it into these buckets. So we'll talk about the SAP storage options, the SAP DVM storage options, uh, which are provided by the which are available rather into the SAP landscape itself. Those are so-called SAP technology provided storage options. Then we'll also talk something about the third-party storage options. Obviously, there are multiple enterprise content management softwares and tools available which you are going to support which falls into the category or bucket of the third-party storage options. But I would be talking something related to where we are closely associated with as a part of the partnership, as well as where we have worked recently with closely with our customers to recommend these storage options. And towards the end, we really don't want to miss out the contemporary storage options when it comes to the hyperscaler, where one has put their SAP workloads, their SAP applications deployed onto any of the cloud platform, be it GCP, be it Amazon, be it Azure. Then how does the cloud platform storage options, how do they support in the context of SAP data archiving or document archiving? So that's how we will proceed with our discussion on this one. So can you please get ahead, please? So let's first start talking about the SAP provided solutions itself, or SAP provided solution options itself here. So as you can see, let me start talking about something into the middle tower. We are talking about the SAP system database or even SAP file system at the raw level, which are able to provide an option for you to store your so-called unstructured data or documents or your data directly into it. When you're talking about the SAP specific data, your transaction data, your functional data, all the information is directly stored in the database. So there itself is actually acts as a storage. But when it comes to some unstructured data storage, for example, I would talk about the softcon1 table, which actually stores your temporary files. So it also acts as a storage for your unstructured or so-called documents. But one need to understand when you're storing the data or your documents, rather than your documents directly into a database, you're actually ending up putting them into the binary large object format. And that's where you clearly see that you're hitting a roadblock in terms of scalability. Probably that definitely is not going to be a good design, a scalable design, and you're definitely going to hit the problems related to performance, which Anusha just discussed, which is one of the important driving factor for you to consider the data volume management, or rather as a formal data volume management, moving out your data or your information outside of SAP database. And very much when you're storing your data or your documents into database directly, uh, you won't have an options to really view that data in the form of the imaging clients or rendering or rightly waving it. Similar way in the central towards where you see the file system, you can directly make use of the called, when SAP, where SAP has application has been set up and installed, the SAP directories themselves can be used. The SAP file system itself can be used for storing your data, your archive data or the documents. So one advantage, we've actually worked with our customers to enable or make use of the SAP file system directly as an ILM based web dev storage as well. So that's something we have done with our work with other customers. So customers can think about to go with the simpler options, but one should always realize that where the problems we are going to hit in terms of, number one, scalability. Number two, you are really going to look forward to the problems when you want to have the access to this data or the documents uh, from the third-party system, or where I say the outside of from the non-SAP applications. That's where you're going to hit the roadblock with it. Likewise, I also call out here on the SAP technologies, we can talk about the SAP content server. And very recently, as part of the business technology platform from SAP, the SAP DMS, where that is also one of the options which is provided for the customers to choose as a storage options to go for the data or the document archiving. Yep. When I'm going to talk about, before I move to the next slide, when I'm going to talk about all these storage options, be this SAP provided, be the third party or the cloud based, just a keynote to make here that we are just trying to give you an abstract view of what are the options which are available here, what are some of the key advantage and what are the shortcomings of each of these storage options. But there may obviously be a technology choice which customer will make for themselves. So when it comes to that kind of situation, we do have our consulting services, our professional services who have worked earlier also with our client to do the due diligence to understand the technology landscape available with the customers, what are the storage choices, do a comparison studies when it comes to choosing a right storage for the customers for doing their data and document archiving, and finally making what I'll say a narrowed down and a concise recommendation to what is a right and future roadmap based storage option for the customer. So after taking a view of this SAP provided storage options, let's move to the next slide, please, Nilesh, where what I would talk about the third party based storage options. Okay, or rather third party solutions which are available when it comes to the context of SAP data volume, data and document archiving. Yeah. Here specifically what you're seeing is are the storage options I have depicted from OpenText. We being an open text silver partner company, we do work closely again with our customers in providing their licensing needs, in providing their consulting and the professional services needs when it comes to the end-to-end solutioning related to open text. It start from the your licensing, you to make a decision on going for this, and even up till end to going to the implementation of all this open text based storage the storage options which we are seeing here. So let me first talk about the two things here: Archive Center and Info Archive. So Info Archive is something I have to mention that it comes from the EMC suite of products. When OpenText has acquired the EMC Documentum suite of products, so Info Archive got inherited from that line of product by OpenText. And Archive Center being their what to say their original or their kind of a flagship archiving solution which OpenText do provide. So I've tried to depict few of the salient differences, when it comes to say deployment options to the licensing model. What are the use cases where they are prominent about? So all what you can see here. Particularly when I want to talk about if customer is really making a choice that they have got SAP specific data or document which we want to do the archiving, then most of the times the Archive Center goes as the primary choice, because that's how OpenText or SAP themselves actually incline or try to do a recommendation to the customers. But as well, they are actually specifically designed and built to work very well with the SAP or data document archiving. But when it comes to info archiving, it definitely has got flexibility in terms of supporting your data and document archiving related to SAP data and documents. But advantage which Info Archive brings on table, which was originally how it was designed, it is very much popular when it comes to non-SAP based application decommissioning, or maybe even if you're considering non-SAP based application, it may be your any third-party application, it may be OEM application, it may be your legacy or a custom developed application. And if you're considering standard archiving solution, then Info Archiving really is a popular solution and very well designed to meet your requirements and needs related to that. Obviously, I touched briefly about what will be the, when I was talking about what are the shortcomings of the SAP-based storage options, I did touch some of the plus points or the advantage which these third-party solutions are going to bring altogether. The very much prominent advantages being that you can always lean on the storage options to be very much scalable. And for that matter, when it comes to the storage, these solutions, what we are seeing here, they basically act as a kind of a abstraction layer. When I say abstraction layer, all these storage management functions are being done or configured from via these solutions. But behind the scenes, you have got a kind of a plethora of choice to go for any other industry leading third-party storage options, I will say. I'm not now talking about the archiving solution, I'm talking about storage options. So for example, customers already have into their in-house landscape the NAS-based or SAN-based storage. They can very much leverage when they want to go with the Archive Center or Info Archive. They definitely are very much scalable. You are obviously having a flexibility to add the cloud-based storage as part of your archive storage. So again, archive storage solutions provided by OpenText, they are going to act as a moderator or a manager for your archiving needs. But actual storage is going to happen either into a cloud-based platform, or it would happen into any of your leading storage providing solution. Now, when OpenText had all this two different level options in the form of Archive Center and Info Archive, OpenText have also shifted their focus onto providing a purely software as a service based storage option as well, which is so-called Core Archive. So with the Core Archive, as you can see, being a software as a service SaaS-based model, you can very well relate that you are going to realize the advantage in terms of your CapEx and the OpEx kind of advantages. Their cost savings you are going to look forward directly. And obviously, being completely cloud-based option, the subscription or the license is going to be a kind of a subscription-based model. And you can very well extend it for your SAP data and document archiving needs. And something to talk about the extended ECM. Extended ECM is nothing but if you want to, the one of the point which I was mentioning when I was talking about the SAP based archiving is that when you want to look forward for an accessibility to your archive data or your documents specifically from the outside of SAP solution, you would look forward for a third-party based solution. So extended is a solution which provides you a 360-degree view for your archive data, or for, I would say, specifically for the documents, your business specific documents, for the non-SAP based users as well. I would like to move to the next slide, please, Mangesh. Likewise, I will also talk about something, want to depict here something related to another option from a third-party based solution coming from the Rocket Software. Rocket Software being a company which provides the data modernization or the IT modernization products and suites, but it has also got the product called Mobius. It's a very much categorized as an enterprise content management solution. And being an enterprise content management solution, it does supports and provides the option to choose Rocket Software Mobius as an storage or storage option for your SAP data or document archiving. Pretty much it gives you all the similar advantages which any third-party solution is going to provide you. But one of the good salient features of the Rocket Software Mobius is something which I have listed the last bullet point, is that it does provides you a kind of a data visualization reports wherein the archive data, there are some inbuilt viewer, or I would say the Mobius view is a inbuilt part of the Mobius architecture, which out of the box would be able to provide you the data visualizations without building it in a custom way for you. So pretty much what I talked about in the previous slide, this slide is the options which are available from the third-party solutions. Let's get focus on the cloud platform-based solutions option or the storage options which are available for us. So when it comes to the cloud platform, we know that each and every cloud platform has got the storage is provided in the form of the services. We call it about the Google's cloud storage services. We are calling about the Microsoft Azure blob storage, or for that matter, Amazon's simple storage services, that is Amazon S3. So when it comes to the storage options provided by your cloud platform, one thing, let's talk about, there are some advantages, obviously, when we talk about, okay, why do one needs to adopt the cloud-based platform? So there are some very obvious, evident advantages with any of the services or pieces which are provided by the cloud platform do add. I will just talk quickly about two, three very importantly, for example, in terms of scalability, right? When you are really planning to put your data or your documents into the cloud-based platform, you are really least worried about in terms of having scalability or that elasticity, how you want to scale up and scale down your storage in terms of scalability, scaling up, scaling down. Durability, or when you're really looking out for in terms of performance, or maybe trying to avoid the risk related to data loss, the cloud platform, they do guarantee that they do provide a durability in terms of data availability and the recovery. So that's something as part of their SOW, and they do take care of it. Security, for sure. I really don't want to undermine that the third party solutions which you're talking about, they do also provide. They do also support the security features which we were talking about. And this is very much an ask from the many of our customers, that when we are storing our data, or rather we are moving our data or documents outside of SAP system, how do you guarantee that you are actually putting that security aspects, that is the data in rest and the data in the transit is really secure, that it's really not accessible to somebody who can hook in between while the data is getting transferred. So they do provide the robust security features. So very much evident features which are available from all the cloud platforms. Let me talk about something, when you want to really choose or adopt to go for the cloud platform storage. The right hand side diagram, the simple depiction, what I'm trying to make here is that from SAP system, if you want to choose the cloud platform storage as an archive link based storage for your data document archiving, then you cannot hook directly to those cloud platform storage. You rather have to introduce an interim layer in between. That interim layer can be your solution coming from your third party solutions, which we discussed about, for example, OpenText or Rocket Software Mobius. Or one may even choose or go for some connector options which are available. They may be available, for example, from Azure Marketplace. If I talk about the Azure services, they may be available from other third-party solutions. For example, we are associated, we are partner with PBS. Vijay was talking about TechOrbit. We did showcase that we are partner company with PBS. They do bring on the board, on the table, the connector options when we want to use a cloud storage for your SAP data archiving. A simple connector-based solution they do provide. Yeah. So that's how you want to, you'll have to go. So that's what pretty much I really wanted to cover. The way I mentioned the storage options we have, I wanted to categorize in 3 buckets. We would be really happy. This was just a glimpse and high level view for you to really give pictures and to really think that there is a versatility in terms of when you want to choose and go for a storing storage options. Yeah. Yeah. Can we get to the next slide, please? Probably we may have to, we would like to go for a poll here, or like to happy to get some inputs from our audiences to understand their insights. Would you please like to provide your answers to the poll which has been posted by our coordinators? And while you're doing that, I also realize that a time check, we have already consumed our time, but we would be really happy if you would allow us to spend some more time, because we would obviously like to have some Q&A sessions. We'll appreciate to hear some of your questions. We'll be happy to address some of them now. Or if time doesn't permit, probably we may be able to take it separately as a one-to-one with you. If you have any questions, you may please like to post your questions into the chat. If possible, we will try to address something now. Or if the time is really constrained from you, you may like to post it and you want to leave, we will be happy to come back to you later as well.
Yes. And also, if you are interested to know how the TechOrbit is functioning, and if you are planning to look for the DVM implementation for your current clients or for your new clients who is suffering with performance issues, or probably going for the HANA preparation, so you have the contact details on the screen. So feel free to drop a text. So we would come with a good presentation to make you understand how you can start the SAP DVM engagement with your clients.
So we are open for questions. Please free to type your questions on the chat window and we'll be able to pick it up.
Okay, so we have a question from Nilesh. The question is, we are currently using third-party on-premises storage to store our SAP data and documents. Can we migrate the archived data and documents from current third-party storage to any cloud-based solution? So this is a very good question, Nilesh. Yes, you can migrate your SAP archived data or probably archived documents from your third-party storages to the cloud-based cheap solution. So however, there are some custom programs that you have to write, and probably there is a customizations that you have to do in the system. So by using them, you can migrate your data and documents seamlessly. And also, I would like to inform you that we have a inbuilt tool which is already certified by SAP, so which is called as a SAP Migration Cockpit. So you can write us to understand more about how it works. So this is a same migration cockpit that helps you to migrate your data and documents from your existing third-party solution to the cloud-based solution without hampering your day-to-day operations or without the need of any downtimes.
Right. I think we don't see any further questions as such. Yeah. Question. So thank you everyone for joining the session. I hope this has truly helped you to understand the SAP data archiving and its benefits. Looking forward for more participation. We'll have regular webinars on each of those topics. So please follow TechOrbit on all the social media platforms, and we'll have more information flowing from us. Thank you so much. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, everyone. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.